The Acorn TV exclusive cozy mystery series Darby and Joan returned for its long-awaited second season in late 2024, but will the show get a third season soon? Debuting back in 2022, and created by Philip Gwynn and Glenys Rowe, the series concerns a recent widow named Joan, Greta Scacchi, who goes on a soul-searching trip to Australia following the death of her husband. While on her expedition, she runs across former detective Jack Darby, Brian Brown, and the unlikely duo soon find themselves on the trail of intriguing mysteries as they explore the countryside and their own pasts together. While it's not the only mystery series on the underrated streaming service, Acorn TV, Darby and Joan is unique because it's as much about the weekly mysteries as it is about the main characters. Season 1 put the focus on Joan's search for answers regarding her late husband, and with that story largely wrapped, Season 2 tackles Jack's own complicated past. This has given Darby and Joan more stakes, and also offers a chance for the series to continue without becoming repetitive. While Acorn TV hasn't renewed Darby and Joan Season 3 quite yet, it seems like a foregone conclusion. Darby and Joan Season 3 is not confirmed. The cozy mystery series hasn't been renewed yet. Jack and Joan look at one another in front of a mountain range in Darby and Joan. Despite being one of the biggest Acorn TV original shows ever, Darby and Joan has largely flown under the radar since its debut in 2022. This makes predicting its future somewhat difficult, especially since the small streamer doesn't share any information about their viewership data. If the cozy murder mystery series does draw a large audience once again, there's no doubt that Acorn TV will want to continue its success in another season. What's important to note though, is that the timeline of Aussie TV is quite different from American production models. With that in mind, it's likely that Darby and Joan Season 3 won't be renewed for quite some time, and it seems as if there's little rush to announce additional seasons. Season 1 of Darby and Joan began airing on Acorn TV in August 2022, and it would take until June 2024 for the sophomore season to be officially announced. While it's unlikely that another year-long wait is in store for a Season 3 renewal, there's every chance that viewers will have quite a wait before they can learn the fate of Jack and Joan's outback adventures. Like the slew of other murder mystery series pouring out of the UK and Australia, Darby and Joan has a streamlined main cast that relies mostly on the chemistry between its leads, instead of having a huge recurring ensemble. Darby and Joan is anchored by Greta Scacchi as English widower, Joan Kirkhope, and Brian Brown as Aussie former detective, Jack Darby. Their emotional connection is the real meat and potatoes of the show, and Season 3 will need them both to return for Darby and Joan to be a success. While side characters like Joan's daughter Rebecca, played by Anna McGahan, add some depth to the main characters' arcs, there's no guarantee that they'll be back in Season 3. Instead, the show relies on a bevy of weekly guest stars to flesh out the ensemble, but very few of them have the opportunity to return because of the weekly mystery format. However, if the show carries on into the future with additional seasons, it may be necessary to add more recurring characters in a supporting capacity. Darby and Joan Season 3 story details. Season 3 of May branch off from Jack and Joan's past. Greta Scacchi smiling as Joan Kirkhope while walking through a garden in Darby and Joan. Though the full extent of Season 2 storyline isn't known yet, it's assumed that it will wrap up the conflict introduced from Jack's past. The former detective finds himself in the crosshairs of an investigation, but faithful viewers know full well that he isn't guilty. Season 3 will probably deal with the fallout of the myriad of revelations that Season 2 presents, and it puts the story in a unique position. Joan has found closure, and Jack will presumably move closer to accepting his own past. This gives the duo's outback wanderings a lot less motivation.